Welcome to the Juice Radio Talk Show. 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 Reality TV, church reviews. Let's talk happy love and marriage lifestyle. Come and talk with us. Come and share with us. Come and laugh with us. Come on and pray with us.
Regina Clovis, special guest. You should be following your lead. Bless. Subscribe on YouTube. Listen on podcasts. We live on IG and Facebook. This episode is sponsored by Truth and Triumph Ministries.
Hey, y'all. Hey. Come on in here. Listen, you guys. This Real Housewives of Atlanta. I know a lot of you may be looking at this and kind of thinking like, you know, it's messy, it's so forth, this and that and everything. But you know what, you guys? I watch these shows and I really get more information about things that are important to discuss. And this episode of season 16, you guys, 16 years this show has been on the air. Season 16, episode 4, which is titled The Vault, is really important. Let me tell y'all why. There's so much information in this episode, especially for women. Now, these are powerful women we know with business and success and TV, and even with the support of their husbands and their careers, helping these women to push their careers. But there's also information that I found in this particular episode that we need to discuss. So I'm going to share my thoughts on these scenes, and I invite you all to join me in the conversation in the comment section, and let's talk about it. But let me show y'all some key elements of some of these discussions that these ladies had that is really valuable and worth taking a listen to. Let's go ahead and cue this up. Here we go. All right, you guys. So the first scene opens up with Angela and Britt going for a walk in the park, and they're going to discuss some things with each other. Now, this conversation was very, very good, and I hope y'all listen very closely to what these ladies were saying, especially what Britt was referring to. Now, some of the notes I have here, I do want to say this as far as what Angela was saying, that her father passed away from a blood clot in the leg, I believe she said it was. Blood clots are serious, and the most serious thing about blood clots is they go unnoticed. And a lot of times when people do find out about them, it's really too late. But there are some medical ways that people can get some information on blood clots, and it will need for you to go and check with your doctor and have them run several tests to just make sure that your body is doing what it should do. So I would say to everyone, and this is not just something that happens to males, this also happens to females. And blood clots don't necessarily have an age limit on them either. So please go and check with your doctor and ask them, can you check to make sure that I don't have any potential threats of having blood clots? What is required, okay, to make sure of that. Britt speaks a little bit about renovating the homes. It shows a scene where she goes and she's renovating these homes that she has. And you guys, I think it was very, very interesting to see this, because I love it when women are out there making the money for themselves as well. Now, we all know that Britt is married to Charles, who, of course, you guys, if you don't know, he was a famous basketball player and did well financially. So for her to go out there and still say, listen, I still want to get my own money. I still want to do my own thing. I want to have mine. It's important to empower women to not just rely on your husband's income. It's important. It's imperative for you to know getting your own is important. Do what you enjoy doing, because that's going to be key for the success in how you do it. Because if you enjoy doing it, you're going to put your all into it. And it's really nice to see how Britt really says it goes out here and she's getting these houses done. And I like that. I like that. I may reach out to her because that's interesting. My husband, of course, you guys know, is in real estate as well, and just real estate and housing and stuff like that. Houses are our thing. We love that. Britt also speaks about the family drama, and she said there's some sister drama right now. There's a rift apparently between her and her sister. Some things went down, and there's this rift. This happens with a lot of family members, especially when something has happened with your spouse. And Britt mentioned this. It has to do with something with her husband, where now it involves her sister and her mother is in the middle. Britt also explained that her mother and Charles got into whatever conversation they had. It was not agreeable. And unfortunately, it has caused a strain on Britt. Britt wants to get the family back together, but she also understands that sometimes you can't just tell your family everything, especially when you have a lot of the bad times. It is important to tell your family about some of the things that should not be kept a secret, like people putting hands on one another and stuff like that, abusive things. It's very important to disclose those. But Britt says this argument had to do with cleaning, house cleaning. And anyway, the situation is sometimes some things that's in a married couple's home should stay in a married couple's home. But this is also key, you guys. She discussed something. The family have not gotten over it yet, but she has. Now, there's an important key in this. Everything, even though you want to vent to others, you have to understand you are the one that's married to that individual. And though you may make up with that individual, your family or friends or others, it may take them a little while longer. So sometimes the process is going to be longer for them. But you also have to remember disclosing everything is not the best tool for women to do, because sometimes we're emotional with it. And we disclose far more than we should. But let's go ahead. And she says that she also takes care of the family financially, and that's with Charles's help. Now, family members, I want to tell you this. If your family members are taking care of you financially, I'm not saying don't say anything when you have something on your mind, but I'm saying you need to, at that point, be gentle with what you are saying, because that could determine if that financial support continues or if it stops. Now, mind you, I'm not saying that you should not say how you feel, but there's ways to say how you feel and still do it in a loving way, and a person can receive it. They always tell you can get more bees with honey. And so even though you have an opinion about something, you want to discuss something, just make sure that you're in a level head. And also remember this, that you may not be able to control the reaction or the receiving part of the other individual. Now, Charles may not have been expecting this whole conversation. And for a man to hear that this conversation is going outside of his house to his wife's family, the mother, the daughter, it may have come as a shock to him. And it may have also come as an embarrassment to him. So, women, before you have discussions outside of the house, just maybe before it gets back to your husband, mention as nicely as you can that you had a conversation with these others. So that way, when your husband is approached by these other individuals, it's not a shock. It may be something that he was preparing for. But remember to keep it loving and kind, because this stuff can always come back and bite. She also says she wants to fix things with her family, and that's going to take a lot of time sometimes in some situations, depending on how terrible they were. I found that when people have arguments and it's in the presence of other people, it usually takes a lot longer for those arguments to settle down and that person to heal from it, because they have to deal with the embarrassment part also. That's why it's always important to try and have these conversations in private moments, one-on-one settings, or one with the other person or somebody that's a mediator, but not to have these arguments in front of a crowd. When you have the conversations one-on-one, it makes it a lot easier for the person, if there was a disruption, for them to be able to forgive and move forward, because the embarrassment part is not there. And the outside noise is not there either. So women and men, choose your conversations wisely and understand and know that ladies and men, if you have someone from the outside that had an argument with you, it's not going to be easy for them to get over it. It may take time, but this was an excellent conversation with her. Go Brit on building those properties, renovating those properties, and flipping those properties. I'm proud of you guys. All right, so the next scene is Shamia and her sister. Now, Shamia and her sister are out laying out by the pool. Do y'all see the alligator statue, whatever she has in the back? I was like, when I saw that, I was like, who's that? Who has that in their yard? Y'all see it behind her sister? I'm like, oh my goodness, what? Child, people and the stuff they buy. But Shamia is on her very first season of Real Housewives of Atlanta as a peach. Okay, she has a real cast. She's a real cast member. She's not a friend of the cast. And let me tell y'all, from day one when Shamia came out, she was doing it right. She's promoting. The first episode, second, third, fourth, Shamia is promoting herself and her singing career. She wants to take this opportunity to do what these shows are supposed to do. Present you an opportunity to share what it is you are doing when these cameras are not rolling. Promote your stuff. And she is doing it right. I love it. She's promoting. Now, she also mentioned that she started out singing in the choir of the Kojic Church, y'all. She was in the Sunbeam Choir. Okay, girl, most people that I've seen, these really big celebrities and singers and that sing real good, most of them started out in the church. Most of them, they started out in the church, y'all. But I was glad that she shared that. She also shared a photo of that. And she's having this conversation with her sister about, trying to not be in, this angry situation with some of these girls. So the part that I really liked on this scene was that Shamia is promoting her singing. She's mentioned that she's been with several groups before, but this is her time. She feels as though she's never really had her shot at what it is, this singing that she wants to do, the big moment. She also has a single that she shared, a little clip with her sister, and she sounds great. She really does sound great. So for her to come on here, not just show us her lovely home, her beautiful daughters, her handsome husband, but for her to shine and share with us what is her passion, that singing, she's doing it right, because people are going to look for the music. So now, Drew, you got competition, girl. You're not the only singer on the show, girl. You got competition, Drew. I know, Drew, you got Dennis trying to help promote you, which I love Dennis. Dennis to me is so hilarious. I love him. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But Shamia, you're doing it right, girl. You're doing it right. And I love it. So, ladies, my point of view on this scene is when you have an opportunity for you to shine, it may be for you to do exactly that. What is your passion that you want the world to see, to gravitate to? It's not always about the mess. Use the opportunities in life when you get to sit on platforms and when you get to be in front of other people or around other people or at gatherings. Use that opportunity to promote you and your passion and not have attitudes and nastiness. Take the opportunity to have people to see you and not to see your nasty attitude. Because, child, we ain't got to buy nasty attitude. That comes for free. But when you're trying to promote something and you want some people to purchase that, make it tangible. And Shamia is doing that. Her music, I believe, is going to sail off the shelves, you guys. It's going to blow up. She's going to be on charts, charting at high levels, number ones, 1 through 10, whatever it is. Shamia, you're doing it right. Keep on doing this. This is what we want to see. Yes, you get a little drama every now and then, but circle on back to the real reason why you got that peach in your hand, and that's to promote you, because there's no telling how long these ladies will be on these shows. Some people only have one season. Some people have one episode. So you better use those episodes and those scenes to your advantage. All right, let's check out what's next. All right, you guys, let's talk about Miss Portia. Portia. Okay, let's go ahead and discuss. All right. So Portia is meeting up with her team and she's discussing some of the business ventures that she has. She also mentions that she wanted to be retired at the age of 40, but that kind of went sideways because she says that for the past few years or so, she's been focusing on just being a wife. Here's a key example, and this is what I really want you ladies to listen to, okay? A lot of women get caught in situations very similar to this, whereas they get married, the men are the breadwinners, and the women drop their dreams, don't focus on any type of careers that they want to really do. They don't look for a future that, what if my husband is no longer around? And they get caught in situations where when the husband isn't around, whether he moved on to somebody else, whether he just simply moved on, or whether he passed away and his financial affairs were not in order, where the money will be directed to you. There are several situations where husbands will be removed out of the situation and the women are left wondering, what do I do next? This is important to look at what Portia is doing right now. Now, Portia is saying that she had put all that stuff on pause, but now that she's going through this divorce from Simon, she's realizing, okay, I got to get back on the ball and do what I can to bring in the income. She's now a single mother again. So she's got to get out here and get the bag. Now, she said this. She said that she wanted to retire at 40. She wants this to be a $1 billion empire. And I love the big goals. Big billion. Put a B in front of it, Portia. Put a B in front of it. She also shows us that she was doing sheets. She has a line of sheets that she was doing, bedding sheets. And now she's getting into comforters. I'm not mad at her. Do what you enjoy doing. People may laugh, oh, what is she doing? She's doing that. Listen, y'all know it's very good sleeping on some comfortable sheets. So why not sell some comfortable sheets? I don't see nothing wrong with it. And I got several comforters in here. And let me tell you, I keep buying them. So Portia, you're right to sell them. I don't think anything's wrong with that. She also mentioned her Go Naked hairline, which y'all, come on now. The bundles are bundling with all these ladies on this show. I mean, they must do about 5 packs or something, allegedly. They listen, there's no shortage of hair suppliers. And Portia, go ahead and get that money the way you get it. No problem with that. Let's talk about the other part of this that I want to discuss regarding Portia. Portia, I'm going to have to tell you, Portia, I like you. I really enjoy you. However, you're going to have to let Dennis go. You cannot keep holding this noose around Dennis's neck simply because he is the father of your child. You are not married to Dennis. You got to let Dennis go. I understand you're upset because Drew is now being that girl and going trying to hang around with Dennis. Maybe it is to make you mad. Maybe it is to make her career popping. But let me tell you, you can't let Drew and get him in the middle of you and Dennis as far as you looking like you kind of jealous. If Dennis wants to film with Drew, let her. It's no big deal. You're coming off controlling, Portia. You're coming off like people are looking at you like you jealous or you like insecure. Why do that, Portia? You're too beautiful and you have too much going for you to try and be that girl that's going to be like, I don't want nobody around my ex when the cameras are on me. Portia, girl, you were all on social media with Simon. Poor Fallon. Poor Fallon. Girl, you were all in that girl's house. And then you were all married to that girl's ex-husband, all on social media. Fallon didn't call you and say, don't film with my ex. Girl, you were all on this show with Simon. Did Fallon call you and say, don't film with my ex? Come on, Portia. You ain't that girl. Portia, I know you ain't that insecure girl. I know you not, girl. I know you are not. That baby mama drama needs to stop, girl. Stop it. Women, here's my point with this. Don't be so jealous and insecure that when your ex becomes an ex, you can't get over it. Let it go. Dennis is a handsome guy. He's going to have women around him. Dennis can be around the friends. I don't listen. I know people talking about girl code, girl code, girl code. Listen, don't be that insecure. It's not coming off looking good for you, Portia. It's looking like you desperate. It's looking like you trying to make the storyline about you trying to block Dennis from being on the show. We like seeing Dennis. And even if we see Dennis on the show filming with Drew, we're not going to look at it like oh, look, Drew is with Dennis. No, we want to see Dennis. We like Dennis. We liked him on the shows that y'all had. We love seeing him on that. We like Dennis. Listen, here's the thing. Drew and Dennis will probably be on the scene, and we'll probably be so focused on seeing Dennis, we won't even see Drew. She'll be like, poof, where's Drew? Where's Drew in the scene? Oh, there's Dennis. She probably will be singing, oh, and we'll be like, what is that noise? But look at Dennis. We're not focused on that portion. We're not focused on that. So please stop out here looking like that girl. Please don't look like that girl, Portia. You're better than that. Much better. You got too many brands going on, businesses going on. And let me tell y'all, these shady producers, when Portia's like whole HR department, and they were like attorneys, and they had Portia's name and HR, and they got Portia's name. But y'all are hilarious. And then even the young man that was in there, or her team member, well, what's the number? And she was like, oh, you got my number. Portia. Oh, Portia. We still like you, Portia, but you gonna need to let that go. Dennis is a whole grown man. And if he wants to film with who he wants to film with, I don't know if you his manager, but Dennis could film with who he want to film with. That's the way I see it. Now, Portia, I'm gonna need you to put that insecurity away, and I'm gonna need you to go ahead and get these comforters out, because I need a few new comforters, Portia. Okay? All right, y'all ladies. Don't be insecure. Don't be that. Let's see what's. All right, so here is our next scene, Drew and Ralph. Ladies, listen up. All right, so Ralph has been banished to the basement, and I think that's good, because when you have a home that's large enough that there can be separation and people not have to cross paths with each other, I think it's great for the kids, because the kids, according to Drew, according to the court documents, her and Ralph are not to discuss the divorce with the kids. So if Ralph was to leave the home, or Drew was to leave the home, and the kids would see that they're not there, the parents aren't there each day, they may have some questions. Now, the kids are old enough to probably think, why is daddy in the basement? I'm not quite sure what Drew and Ralph discussed with them as far as that, but I do still think it's a great idea to have both parents still in the home. Ralph also stated in this part that his main thing is with this divorce, even though it's been very long, he wants to just make sure he gets 50-50 custody of his children. I don't see why that would be a problem, and I don't see why that's a problem in any relationships where the parents have not displayed any form of abusive actions toward the children. Why not allow them to have 50-50 custody? Ralph has proven on the show to be a good father. Drew has proven on the show to be a good mother. So both of them are entitled to spend time with the children. And the children appear to love to be around both of them. As the scene opened up, we see Ralph is outside running, playing some games with the kids, and the kids are running, doing some games. Drew comes out and joins them. And I think it's great. I don't think that they should have an issue, or the court should have an issue of not giving them 50-50 custody. Now, when it comes down to some cases, that 50-50 custody can also determine the money part. If someone is asking for alimony, then that 50-50 custody, or if they're asking for child support, may affect that alimony or child support money. So there may be more of a reason, besides Ralph wanting to spend time with his kids. It may also have to do something with, allegedly, the money part. But In the aspects of spending 50-50 custody with their children, I think that's perfect. I think it's great because the kids still need to have that involvement with both parents. I say this all the time. When parents divorce, it should not be that the children are divorcing their parents as well. Now, many people on this show, as well as many people in the world, are children and products of a divorced family. When you yourself become the adult and you are now facing divorcing your spouse, think back on how you felt when it came time for your parents to get divorced and how that felt. And how did it feel when you weren't able to see that other parent? You probably didn't understand it. The problems and feelings that you probably had back then are probably still affecting you today. So when parents are out there and they're thinking, well, I'm going to go through this divorce and I don't want this anymore. And if you were a product of a child who went through when your parents got divorced, think about how you felt and make it different for your children. There's ways and things and people that can help you to be able to be mediators to help make sure that the children still can get to see each of the parents, and you don't have to be the one that's there. There are organizations and companies that would be that mediator for you to help make sure that the children get to be picked up and seen with both parents or seen with the parents, so you don't have to do it yourself. Because sometimes when parents are dropping off and picking up, then that explosiveness comes into play, and parents forget it's not just about you. And they start thinking only about themselves and their feelings, and they let those actions get in the middle of it. You're supposed to drop off and pick up these children, not to put your actions in place, not to have your feelings all over the place. But remember, it's about the child. Let them have that moment with their parent without all of that arguing. Now, I'm not saying that that's what Drew and Ralph are doing. They seem to be handling all this pretty well. And I think it might work out for the two of them. I think it just might work out really well. Now, Drew is calling Ralph a narcissist. I got a sip on that one. Here's something else, ladies. Before you go throwing words around about somebody, look up the definition. Now, Drew, you should have looked up that definition far before you sat in that chair and production have to ask you about Ralph and you say he's a narcissist and they ask you, what makes Ralph a narcissist? And you say, I got to pull up my phone and look it up. Come on, ladies. Just because the whole world is throwing a word around, don't mean that you need to use that same word. But since production did pull it up and Drew gave the definition she found, I want to give y'all some other key points on narcissists. Now, this says here from a dukehealth.org, it says, what are the symptoms of narcissistic personality disorder? Did y'all know it was a whole disorder? It says, 1, sense of self-importance. Often they say people have a sense of self-importance. Next thing, preoccupation with power, beauty, or success. Also, it says entitled. Well, also can only be around people who are important or special. Interpersonality exploitative for their own gain. Arrogant, lack empathy, and must be admired. Well, would y'all say that's Ralph? I don't know. Sounds like a few of those could be Drew. I'm just saying, allegedly. Okay. Now, let's go on to something else I want y'all to know about this word narcissist. What can trigger a narcissist? It says this: negative childhood experiences, trauma, rejection, neglect, and lack of support during childhood can all contribute to developing narcissistic traits. So a lot of people think that people are born this way. No, this has a lot to do with how you were brought up. It has a lot to do with your childhood. And then it has a lot to do with handling things in your adult life, and you still haven't handled things from your childhood. So it's important, especially parents like Drew and Ralph that are going through this divorce, to make sure that they don't have their children to have traumatic issues where possibly one day someone could say one of them are a narcissist. Why? Because of the rejection, lack of support during childhood. This can all contribute, according to this clevelandclinic.org, can all contribute to a narcissist. So, Drew, while you're out there calling Ralph a narcissist, make sure, and this is for all ladies, and this is my point when I'm talking about this particular scene. Ladies, make sure that you are protecting your children in a way that they don't become the very thing that you're calling their fathers. Make sure. And part of that is making sure that even though you don't like the man anymore, or you no longer are in love with that man anymore, those children may still be in love with him. They still may admire him. And part of making a healthy child grow up to be a healthy adult is not putting your own emotions on those children. All right? Drew and Ralph, I think y'all gonna make it. Let's go on to the next scene. All right, you guys. So the next scene we have is Kelly and Kenya. Y'all, I really like this scene. It really, really, really shows support for each other. I love that Kelly is there showing and sharing with Kenya. Listen, don't be afraid of business, but we'll get into that. Let's start off first. Kenya and Kelly are talking. Now, they both look great. Kenya, beautiful. Kelly, beautiful. That body, I'm telling you, Kelly, 4 daughters. I need you to tell us what you do, girl. I need your routine because the body is bodying. Beautiful. Now, Kenya notices that Kelly came there with a very large bodyguard, and they go into the conversation of why the bodyguard. And then Kelly mentions to Kenya, we both have a Mark. Isn't it amazing how both of their exes are named Mark? But then Kelly goes into that there's a restraining order, and the restraining order was necessary because, according to her, Mark threatened her while they were in court. He threatened to allegedly take her life. This is what she was saying. So this, again, you guys, is a very important part to focus on, because when there's a divorce that happens, both parties may not feel the same way about the divorce, especially when it comes down to dividing of the assets. Now, Kelly mentioned that they had this business, and they've had the business while they were married. They got this business. They were married for 11 years, and they had the business for 8 years. Now, the husband, it appears to be, is upset because it looks like, of course, that Kelly got to maintain the business. And that can be a lot on someone to find out, hey, you go through a divorce, you build this business together, all of you are doing this stuff together, monies are being possibly put together, and then a judge may order you to no longer be a part of that business. That can be hard, not only mentally on a person, but financially. And sometimes when you mess with people's finances at huge levels, like businesses can be, it could trigger them to really forget to use some really calmness in situations. So for her to say he was that upset that he threatened her in court, ladies, pay attention. When you're doing business with your spouses, you need to get with lawyers and attorneys to put documents in place that if the business is to continue and the marriage does not continue, what happens with that? Let that already be in place before the business is up and running. This needs to be a discussion, and paperwork needs to be put in place when you're getting your company name together, when you're registering your business with the corporations. You need to sit down and have someone draft up documents that would state, if this marriage does not proceed and the business does, what happens next. Put that in place, because a lot of this happens a lot of times with people. They have businesses, the marriage is going great, and then when the marriage ends and that business needs to continue, it could be detrimental. Now, I'm glad that she has a restraining order, and she said, of course, she needs to be here for her beautiful daughters. The sad part about this thing is he no longer gets to see the girls. Her daughters now cannot get to see their father because of his behavior, how he behaved in that courtroom. Men, before you get so angry to try and lash out and let your behavior get the best of you, think about your loved ones, your children that may have to pay a price because of your moment of letting anger get the best of you. The daughters should not have to not be without seeing their father, and their mother should not be threatened because of the business deal. Men, women, if somebody else gets the business and you no longer have it, build again. Build again. There's a lot of people out here that have businesses that they're no longer a part of, and they built again. There's a lot of marriages that when they had a business, unfortunately, the business and the homes had to be sold, but they continued on. Why? Because it's not just in that brand, because there's a new brand that could be made. Don't get so stuck and worrying about what a judge says you can no longer have. It may be the blessing that you were really looking for, because now you can build again. And this time it could be 100% yours. And you still get to see your kids. And you get to show the example to your kids that even though the divorce is no longer there, you could still have businesses that will flourish. But why spend time worrying and focusing on someone else when that separation is there, when that divorce is there? The assets have been liquidated or have been divided. Move on. I know you might say, but it's a lot of money. But look how much more money you could probably make if you stop spending your time worrying, stressing, doing bad behavior over something that is no longer yours. Let it go and move on. Not only that, let it go and move up. It's important, and you can do it. Don't focus on the success that they have. Oh, look, they're still doing it because I spent 8 years helping them with that. Come on, you still got life and body in you. And thank you, Holy Spirit, you got this. You got experience. So the mistakes that you all probably made in the beginning of that business, you won't make those same mistakes because you got 8 years of experience now. Come on, you could do it. I know y'all can. Now, Kenya also spoke about her business and she started crying. Now, Kelly was telling her, hey, did you franchise? And she mentioned, Kelly said, hey, I think Kenya said it's $400,000. And she's like, that's a lot of money. I got daughter, my daughter want to do college, tuition for and all of this stuff. That's a lot of money. I can understand the tears that Kenya was doing, because at that moment, sometimes things will hit you and reality will set in. All this money is now dependent on me to do. And that's a fearful place to be in. So Kenya, I'm glad that she has someone like Kelly who has 4 daughters and is doing this business out here herself. She can be that example and that inspiration and that motivator to Kenya to say, listen, girl, you got this. And Kelly said that to her. You got it. You can do this. And I understand, again, like the tears that Kenya had, all of this is on her. Financially, ladies, I know they may look cute. These ladies look gorgeous. They have fabulous wardrobes, but they also got real problems and real issues. And that's why I really love this episode, because it's showing us more than the glamour and glitz. It's showing us reality. Kenya's got bills she's got to pay. And though she's got this business that she's working on right now, this money is coming out of her pocket. And there's a future. And it's scary sometimes. But this is why I love to see scenes like this, where the ladies can come together and they can say, listen, I know it's scary, but together you can do it. Because this shows other women who are watching these episodes and these scenes, you can do it too. And you just might need a good girlfriend to share with you and show you and support you and show you that you can. This is what these shows are supposed to be showing us: the support for one another. And scenes like this are what really makes these shows more enjoyable. Now let's root for Kenya. I know you can do it, girl. I know you can. Come on now. You can do this, and I can't wait to see your success, Kenya. All right, y'all. Let's go to this next scene. All right, this next episode, this next scene with Britt and her sister Cher, this hit home to me, you guys, because again, we have two sisters who are going through a situation where there's some distance between them, and some situation has happened, and the sisters have not seen each other. I think they said in this scene about a month. And I want to talk a little bit about this because this happens in a lot of families. It also happened in my family between me and my sister. And whatever the argument or disagreement is, sometimes things like this will take place. So ladies, listen up. This particular scene that we're talking about, this hits home with a lot of us. Now, they start off by Britt and her sister Cher coming to meet for dinner. And Cher says that Britt has not seen her nephews, and she says it's been about a month, and she says she needs them to see her nephews. Britt then asks Cher what's going on with her and her mom, and Cher rolls her eyes, blinks those beautiful lashes, girl, beautiful lashes, Cher, and she says she blocked her mom. And the two start having a conversation about why are you blocking people? I understand what Cher is feeling. She feels as though, and she says this in this scene, that once her sister, who she was very, very close to, got married, then that took away some of the time that she and Britt would share. And the issue is single women have a hard time, especially when they're not in relationships of their own. Thank you, Holy Spirit. When they're not in relationships of their own, they have a hard time seeing their sister in a loving relationship and a happy relationship. And also, they have a hard time, especially during their own lonely moments. And although, like Britt said, she could call her, she said, Britt's told her sister Cher, you could call me when you want to spend time with me. But Britt was not able to call Cher because Cher blocked her. And so during that time that Cher said, I was angry, I was mad at you because now you got married and you act like we can't spend no time together. And Britt's like, hey, you blocked me. She says, but just because I got married doesn't mean I don't want to spend time with you. And then Cher starts crying, and I understand her tears as well. She wants to spend time with her sister without having Mike around. But like Britt said, Mike is her husband. But not only that, Britt says, I don't have a lot of friends. So the time that I spend is majority going to be with Mike. But Cher does not want to share her sister with Mike all the time. So this is when sisters have to understand. The other sister is not jealous of your relationship. She simply wants to be a part of your relationship. She simply wants to be able to spend some of the time like they did tonight, which the two ladies enjoyed, the one-on-one time, the having somebody that is there with you without having the spouse. It does not mean that the spouse have to be there all the time. The little moments like this is probably what that sister is looking for. All right. I understand it. But sisters, you have to understand, those of you who are single and your sisters are married, you have to also understand that besides work and other stuff and household things and being there for your husband, it has to take some time for us to be able to manage, to be able to fit our schedules to make sure that we can spend that one-on-one time with you all. And I'm not saying, oh, you have to schedule them in. No, but you have to understand, pulling us in a lot of directions also consumes us as well. So be patient with your sister that's married. Be patient and pick up the phone and call and simply say, hey, can we spend time today? Can we get together on this day? Can you schedule this? It's okay to do that. And don't get mad if they have to say, no, I can't do it this time. It's not because they don't want to. They may be occupied. Respect that. Respect it. Now, Cher said this. She said, I got to have a relationship with both of you? Cher, you don't have to have a relationship with both of them, but it would be nice for you to respect her marriage and respect and have a relationship with both of them. It doesn't mean that you have to spend time with both of them, but it would be nice. But if there is an issue with you spending time with both of them, because probably what Cher is looking at is she's seeing Mike there with Britt, and she's like looking at something that she doesn't have. It's not to say that she's jealous, but to want to be in something that you're seeing in front of you can be hard to watch. So, ladies, you who are married, you got to also remember to respect that as well. You could be making it tough for your sister seeing you sitting there with the man that loves you, that takes care of you, that is a provider, and that just supports you, and you're happy with, and they don't have that. So just be mindful of that, all right? Take the time out right now. Some of you put on your calendar, call your sister up and say, hey, let's do some one-on-one time, all right? I love that the ladies did this. And maybe this will be an opportunity for them to mend and grow and learn how to have this sister relationship and sister bond to go beyond what they thought it would be and to create something good and new and to teach the next person that is coming up. And I also want to say this regarding blocking. Ladies, when you block someone, how dare you get mad because they didn't call you? You blocked them. Come on now. We not two. All right, y'all. Let's go to this next scene. I think these sisters are going to work it out. Okay, y'all. Introducing without Portia on scene. All right, y'all. Now Portia gonna probably be big mad about this because despite her trying to allegedly threaten Dennis about if you're on scene, it's gonna be a problem. Y'all saw the clip that the producers ran. Dennis was not paying that no attention because look, y'all, he's on scene and with who? Drew. Come through, Dennis. Don't allow somebody to control you or your bag. You don't really owe no loyalty to Portia about when it comes down to make money. Come on now. Portia, Dennis got to make money too. Now, this scene here, what can we learn from this scene, ladies? Drew decides she wants to collaborate with Dennis. Now, here's the thing, y'all. Drew knows a lot of people, but I believe that Dennis knows even more people. I believe that the reason why Drew is getting with Dennis is because of connections. Drew may need to get more connections than she already has in her Rolodex. And why not collaborate with somebody who has a bigger, well, maybe allegedly Rolodex? Why not collaborate with somebody else who has people that you can connect with? That's how you expand your brand. Don't just stick in one little circle. Don't be afraid to expand your brand. Yes, that's what we need to discuss, expanding your brand. And sometimes you're going to have to connect with some people, and other people may not agree with it or may not like it. But if you're not doing anything wrong, now, Drew, we do hope you're not doing nothing wrong. We do hope that. Dennis, we like you. Please don't disappoint us, Dennis. But they meet and they're in the studio and Drew goes in and she's getting prepared for this song that she's trying to sing. And she mentions to Dennis, hey, I'm going to need you to talk to Portia and settle that. And Dennis basically like, no, I'm going to need you to take care of that. I'm not taking care of it. I don't think Portia should even be a part of the conversation. Get the music going, get the song ran, and let's be on to the next project. That's what I think. And that's all I'm going to say about this scene right here. Expand your brand. Next scene. Ooh, child. I had to get several notes on this final scene of this episode. I need 2 sips. Oh my. Let's talk about it, ladies. Oh my goodness. What can we learn from this? All right. First notes here. The ladies are getting ready to go to the Bankhead event. It's called the Bank, and that looks like it's got great food. Now, for those of you that don't know Atlanta, Bankhead is considered a rough area. Okay. But I am glad to see companies and organizations and restaurants like this, even in what we call the rough neighborhood. Come on, you still can contribute and enjoy a beautiful meal. Y'all, that food that they had at the bank, let me tell y'all, I might have to drive up. I might have to go and visit the bank, honey. Let me tell you, that food looked delicious. All right, so shout out to the bank over in Bankhead. Angela decides she's going to have the dinner over there, and she's calling it the Black Experience, Black Excellence, the Black Excellence, which I loved. Black Excellence, you right? Celebrate one another, celebrate Black women doing great things. I love the concept. However, it was good until it had to take it to the streets. Lord, when the doors of the vault opened and all the niceness went out the door with it, it went to the parking lot. And my, like the church mothers say, it went down. Now, here's some key points I want to give you all on this. All right, here we go. So, a couple of notes. First of all, let's show this because Kenya came to the dinner in a green dress. Now, she acts as though she did not see that it said black attire, right? Then she goes on to lie and say, I don't have any black thing. I don't have any black. Girl, Kenya, hold on, girl, Kenya. Because listen, I'm going to act like I'm production right now. And I'm about to share this screen. Because, Kenya, you can't be out here lying to the folks. You can't be lying to the folks, Kenya. Look at all the black attire, Kenya. Girl, Kenya, ain't this you right here? Ain't this you? This you, Kenya, right? Mm-hmm. In black, right? Did you give the outfit away? What happened to the outfit, Kenya? Oh, look, here's another one. Oh, she was pregnant then, so maybe she can't wear that one. We understand, Kenya. You probably can't wear that one. But, girl, look at this one. Girl, Kenya, that one was nice. You still got that one in your closet? Okay, maybe she don't. Well, let's check out this one. Oh, la, la. Kenya, you look great in your black attire, girl. Very cute. Very cute. Girl, stop. Stop, Kenya. No black attire. Oh, my goodness, y'all. All right, let's get on to this scene. All right, here we go. Bring this back on the scene. Here we go. So, Shamia comes in and she brings that olive oil that she ordered on the previous scene, and she has an olive branch in it. I thought that was very nice. And Shamia also said that love language is her gift. I like it. Let me say this note to you guys. When you have your own love language, it may not be the love language of others, even though the gift was nice, and it was nice that she shared that that is her love language. Sometimes when we as ladies say, well, I'm going to buy her something because this is my way. I like this. This is what I like. It may not always be what the other person's like. Now, her love language could have been something else. You know, the other girl, it could have been something else. But let's not neglect and negate what Shamia did. She came with an olive branch. It was a beautiful gesture. She just didn't come with a word. She actually came with the olive oil and the olive branch. Kudos to Shamia for wanting to make amends, and I thought it was beautiful. Now, then they go on and they talk about Drew, and they're talking about, you know, who bought at the Ball Main event, who purchased something, and all eyes turn to Drew, and Drew is like, what? No, I bought. And she shows a text thread. Then she says in confessionals that she bought, or at the table, that she bought a jacket for her son. It was $2,000. But then they say, well, where's the receipt? Drew, did you actually purchase? Because that would have been the first thing I would have pulled up, my bank account or the credit card that I used, something. Maybe Drew will produce that later on, because sometimes you don't always have that so quick to pull up. So maybe later on, Drew will share with us the receipt showing that she purchased the jacket. Y'all so shady. The ladies are shady to my no transaction receipts. Y'all know sometimes you have so many credit cards, you can't remember which one you use. Give Drew enough time. I'm sure if she purchased that jacket, She gonna show y'all the receipt. But the lady saw the text thread, Dennis texting, and then they're like, Dennis texting? She said it's a group text. It was. Drew, what does that tell you next time? Don't share your phone with these ladies. Ladies, here's the lesson. Don't share your phone with everybody. Don't share it, y'all. Everybody ain't got to see because you don't know when them notifications going to come in. I'm just saying. All right. Now, Shamia shares her song, y'all. Shamia shares her song and hating Portia. Oh, that's Drew. That's Drew. And then Portia goes in even more. Is that really you? Is that really you? Girl, what kind of friend are you? This is your friend, Shamia, your good friend. Now, this is why Shamia got a problem with Portia. Even if Portia felt as though, oh my God, is that really you? Why would you bring up Drew's name on a song that Shamia has on her phone? Don't do that. Don't be so mad at Drew that you got to cut your own friend. Ladies, here's the tip. Don't be so mad at somebody else that you cutting down your real friends. Don't do that. Messy, Portia. Messy. And that's the thing. When y'all are messy with one another, why take it to a point where it's overflow messy? It's so messy now that you mad at this girl that now you having that meanness and nastiness and messiness milk right on over to the people that have been supporting you, that have been good friends to you, and you wonder why one day you look up and everybody gone. It's because you have so much hatred for one lady that is spilled over to all the other ones that were around, and they were like casualties of war. Stop it. Don't be so involved and angry at somebody that you end up losing out on your real friends. The way Portia was doing Shamia was horrible. Horrible. Let's go on real quick to the deposit slip questions. When they asked Shamia, what did she do to get that Rolls Royce? Ain't mad at you, Shamia, girl. Ain't mad at you, girl. I am not mad. She showed them Throatgate and how she had to back it up. She married, y'all. She's married. She's married. And if that's what it takes for her to get it, ain't nothing wrong because she's doing it with her husband. Now, my point in this, ladies, you better learn how to please your man. You best to learn how to please your man. Don't be talking like, ew, I don't want to do that. Ew, I would never. Okay, then somebody else just might. And then they get the Rolls Royce. Shamia keeping her man, honey. She is keeping her man. I love it when a wife can outdo any other woman. I love it. That's the lesson in this. You better be outdoing anybody else. You better be outdoing. When your husband be out there and these women be coming up and your husband look at them and be like, my wife can do better than that. I love it. Shamia, teach him how to keep your man. All right, y'all. Then Portia goes talking about the husbands. And see, leave the husbands alone. I don't know, Portia, why you trying to comfort Charles? You better leave Charles alone because I believe Charles will step in a woman's ring. I believe Charles will step in a woman's ring. Ding, ding, it's on. Charles against Portia. Portia, leave husbands alone. You got a whole situation going on yourself. Stop because you unhappy. You want to come into somebody else's happy marriage. Ladies, what's the point? Stop being so bitter. Your relationship is bad. You can't see somebody else being happy. Don't be that bitter, Betty. Don't do it. Maybe if you would have minded yours and not been so bitter, you could have kept one of the husbands that you had. No shade, no tea to Portia. Lessons learned. That's what we do here at the Juice Radio and Talk Show. What can we learn from this? Stop being so messy in other people's relationships and then you look up and yours messed up. Don't do it. All right, next. Kenya gets all the questions, and one of the questions that they had the argument over, which started the whole thing that went to the parking lot, was speaking kindly to people. Kenya does have an issue with speaking kindly to people. Now, I think what happens with Kenya, this is my opinion, my thought, I'm going to say allegedly, I feel as though Kenya, because of her upbringing and how so many people rejected her, I think she goes into fight mode when she feels as though she's being backed in a corner. And I feel as though she can be real dirty with it because she is still having some of that hurt inside of her. And so I think that's why she fights real hard when she's in situations like this. Now, Britt, you were coming for Kenya. You could have been spoken kindly yourself. How women, here's the note, here's the key in this, you guys. Here's my point of view. Ladies, when you want another lady to do something for you, be willing to do the same yourself. If the question was, can you speak kindly to someone, then Britt should have been ready to speak kindly herself. And that doesn't always mean that someone is going to speak kindly to you. But even in the arguments, can one person try and stay kind? And if you can, then unfortunately, you may not be able to have a conversation with that individual. But the point is, I want to make before we get to the outside is this. When you're looking for someone to do something, you be ready to wear that crown yourself. Do it yourself also. Now, then Britt is very upset. She asks, where's her husband? Because, of course, her husband got to take her home. But then the husband comes. Of course, she's upset. She's going to let him know all as wise we do it. But I'm so glad that her husband kept his calm. He kept cool. That's what we need, women. For these husbands to be cool, especially when we've nearly lost it. Her husband was not only cool, he was still mindful in the whole situation. Like, hold on, let's take this mic off. Yes, because she still was mic'd, and anything that comes on that mic could be used against you in a court of law. Ladies, I know y'all filming on a TV show, but the court systems can still pick up the mics and stuff that's on some of these shows and use it against you. Y'all women got to be real careful about it, but it also showed us the truth of how Britt was really feeling. And she mentioned she had a weapon. And she mentioned, a whole bunch of stuff. But her husband was trying to do his best to be, wait a minute, don't say none. Hold on, be quiet, slow down. Now, those aren't the exact words he used, but that's basically the gist of what he was doing. And he was doing that. Why? To protect her. He wanted to protect her. You can't always say everything. Kenya, you also have to be careful because you trying to put her down, talking about the peasant. Come on now. You don't know what her background was. You don't know how her history was and how her childhood was. That's probably a trigger, calling somebody a peasant as though you're better than them. Don't do that. You don't know mentally how that affects her. So be careful, ladies. You out here calling people names and acting as though all this all kiki and funny. Everybody ain't gonna kiki and funny with you over stuff. Somebody call him Kenya a peasant may hit her different than her calling Britt a peasant. Don't do that, ladies. Just because you got a crowd around you and you want the laughs and the camera's rolling, you're gonna get a reaction out the camera and the viewers. Don't do that. Don't do that. You don't know how that made her feel. And I'm hoping later on, maybe Britt will let us know why it hurt her so much to the point where she really went off like that. That to me felt as though it triggered something in her. And it could be sometimes these women, they're on these platforms, they have a lot of money and they have wealth. And some of the other ladies may feel as though they're not in that status of these other women. They may feel like that. So you don't know what that did for her thought. And you did it on television where viewers are seeing. And maybe, Britt's thought was all these people now see this and hear this and they go look at me different. Kenya, you've been doing this too long. Stop. You're too pretty for all this, Kenya. Stop it. Oh my goodness. I hope these ladies get it together. But in closing, you guys, ladies, there are lessons to be learned in watching these shows. And I hope and pray that you all have saw some of the lessons that I saw in these shows. Now, we'll be watching next week to see what we learned from it. And I want you to tell me what your thoughts are on this episode. What do y'all think about The Vault? And also tell me what you think about my commentary on this. drop a comment, and click a like on this video. And also, you guys, if you're new to my channel, subscribe, like, and share. All right, y'all. Have a blessed evening. I'm going to see y'all next week when we discuss more of these ladies of the housewives, the real housewives of Atlanta. See y'all next week. Bye.